Here's the last 12 hours of world news in 3 minutes and 23 headlines. Pope Francis, the first Latin American pope, died after a 12-year papacy marked by advocating for the poor, environmental protection, and interfaith dialogue amid church challenges. Several UK MPs and peers opposed Donald Trump addressing Parliament during his upcoming visit, citing concerns over his past comments regarding the UK, NATO, and Ukraine. Citing intense pressure and changing diner expectations, several chefs in France, Italy, and the UK are rejecting or returning their Michelin stars, reflecting industry shifts. U.S. Defense Secretary Hegseth shared sensitive Yemen operations info via another private chat, leading to investigations and officials placed on leave after similar incidents. China criticized countries cooperating with the U.S. on trade negotiations related to President Trump's tariffs, increasing global trade tensions between the two nations. Chinese state buying and better-than-expected economic data helped mitigate the impact of President Trump's reciprocal tariffs on mainland Chinese stocks amid global market volatility. South Korea's customs agency found a surge in attempts to mislabel goods as Korean exports to circumvent U.S. tariffs imposed by President Trump. China implemented a trade war strategy using non-tariff barriers, like restricting Boeing jet and critical mineral imports, causing disruptions to American manufacturing and impacting U.S. businesses. Philippines and U.S. militaries began large-scale joint exercises involving 17,000 troops and advanced weaponry. India is supplying a second batch of BrahMos missiles to the Philippines, fulfilling a 2022 deal to strengthen its coastal defenses amid South China Sea tensions. Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba and other officials made ritual offerings at Tokyo's Yasukuni Shrine. Traditional practice drawing criticism from China and South Korea. Japan and Indonesia are discussing the joint development and production of Mogami-class frigates for the Indonesian Navy, aiming to strengthen defense industrial ties between the countries. Malaysia Airlines is negotiating with Boeing for 737 MAX delivery slots freed up by Chinese carriers due to the U.S.-China trade dispute, potentially speeding fleet modernization. Singapore announced a new joint project office in the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone to support businesses expanding amid U.S. tariffs and strengthen regional supply chains. Chinese stocks, especially tech and gold miners, rose on anticipated Beijing stimulus measures aimed at counteracting the U.S.-China trade war, offsetting losses in other sectors. LG Energy Solution withdrew from an $8.45 billion EV battery project in Indonesia due to market conditions, impacting Indonesia's production plans despite some ongoing collaboration. Driven by regulatory clarity and new use cases, global financial firms invested roughly $35 billion in generative AI in 2023. This is expected to expand to a projected $126.4 billion in 2028. Hong Kong Exchange's plans to shorten its stock settlement cycle to T+1, mirroring global trends and aligning with China to boost competitiveness and reduce risk. U.S. media company Nexstar settled a defamation lawsuit from Trump's Truth Social after its publication. The Hill inaccurately reported financial losses, resulting in a reporter's firing. U.S. immigration officials in Arizona wrongfully arrested and detained U.S. citizen Jose Hermosillo for nearly 10 days based on false claims of illegal entry from Mexico. Pro-Khalistan graffiti defaced a Hindu temple and a Gurdwara in Canada, including threats against PM Modi, prompting condemnations and police investigations. Nearly 49,000 patients in England, mostly elderly, waited over 24 hours for hospital beds in A&E last year due to staff shortages and increased attendance. Asian crime syndicates are expanding their sophisticated, multi-billion-dollar cyber scams from Southeast Asia to South America and Africa, despite regional crackdowns on their operations. That's it for now. Follow the channel for updates every 12 hours or check out the channel for yesterday's news.